that I got for Christmas last year, 2010, was one of these. It's a limited edition to 1,000 pieces. It's the Hornby 70th anniversary edition Flying Scotsman locomotive. It's 00 gauge. For those that are in Europe or America, that would be HO. What can I say? It comes in a very, very impressive box. If I swing that around, you better see. It says Hornby Legends on there, 00 gauge, and it is down to 1,000 a piece, I believe. And this gives you a bit of an idea over here. Anyway, very nice box, very impressive. But we didn't actually buy this locomotive just for the box alone. We wanted to buy what's inside of it. So let's look inside and see actually what is in the box. So we just lift this cover off like this. It's quite impressive, a nice green colour to match the engine. And we take it off, box down there, and it comes in a nice piece of foam that protects everything that's inside the box. So if we go up here like this, you'll be able to get a bit more better view. Right, so if we take the foam off, like so, when we open the box, the first thing you notice that you get a little book in here, which is really, really nice. When you open it up, it tells you a little bit about the history of the locomotive, where it was made. This fellow here, that's Sir Nigel Gresley, very, very famous locomotive designer in England, who designed and made, not physically made with his bare hands, but designed a lot of the top steam locomotives of the day. This is basically about him and about the train he designed, which this one in particular was Flying Scotsman. And if we go to this little book here, it's got some really nice pictures of Flying Scotsman during its working life. A little bit of history there. Gives you the technical specifications of the loco and everything. So as you can see, very nice little package you get with that. And more importantly, this is your certificate of ownership, which basically tells you that there were so many of these models made. There's your certificate number, and that feather, I believe, is to do with the manufacturing director of Hornby or whatever. Either way, this is your proof that you've got this is your number of the train that you actually own, so it proves that there's so many made and you've got one. So I mean, brilliant. Right, on to the most important thing. What do you get inside? So obviously, look here, this is just your normal standard operating instructions and how to look after it, care and maintenance, bit of paper. I always give that with you. You get a little packet here which has got the brake rod in and some vacuum pipes to the front of the loco that you fit externally underneath the locomotive. And you get one of those out of the way. You get a DCC sleeve, which is a piece of plastic sheath that if you want to fit a DCC chip, for those of you that got DCC models out there on your railways, DCC in normal English terms is a chip that you fit inside your train, and it works digitally with a digital controller where you can select and store the number of a train, and you punch in a few commands and the train basically drives itself around your layout without you having to manually stop and start it. It will do whatever it wants to do via this chip. So I'm not a huge DCC fan. I don't intend to get a DCC layout. I'm a bit old-fashioned. I'm more of a hands-on person, so if you like DCC, good. If not, don't need that. Right, let's look inside the box. I'll just pause this while we go inside the box and we'll see what we've got. A1 Flying Scotsman loco. Isn't that beautiful? There she is. There she is. And one of the things that I've noticed about this particular model that Hornby have done really well on is the way they've picked out, you can't really see it on the camera because it doesn't do it justice, but the gold leaf lettering that's been picked out and raised on the words LNER, London North Eastern Railway, the way it's been picked out paint wise is just fantastic. I mean, it really is really nice the way they've picked it out, and it's embossed, and it just looks the part. They've really captured the lines and the look of the locomotive completely, 100%. As you can see, there's the nameplate. It says on there, Flying Scotsman. Just out of coincidence, those that are interested in model railways and locos themselves, it used to be a tradition up until recently where Hornby used to put the motors to drive these trains. They used to put them in the tenders, but now all Hornby tender locos come with the motors in the loco themselves, so it gives you more prototypical sort of running. Even as far as the works plate on there, if we can get a shot of that. Sorry, cam a bit faded on there, but we can get that on there. It's a bit tricky to get a zoom into that, but it's got Doncaster Works 1928 on there. It's a bit hard to get that on there, but I'll try and get a zoom in of that. No, it won't let you. A bit fuzzy. But anyway, there's a works plate on there. It does say Doncaster Works 1928 on there, which is really nice little touch. If we zoom out again to the loco. If we look at the tender, and if we just take this apart from here, it comes off quite easy. On the tender itself, we've got all these picked out details, like you've got the handbrake handles, you've got all the little bits of detailing on there, some signs on the tender panel there. The coal is actually quite convincing, believe it or not. Doesn't look too bad. When we turn it round on here, you can see you've got the separate fitted handrails on there, sprung buffers, just a nice little touch. Coming round here onto the loco itself, again it's very similar to the last loco we looked at out of the Royal Scots set. The footplate itself hasn't been picked out, but you can do that if you want to. And once again, I think this is another fine loco excuse me, from Hornby. I think that would make anyone who's interested in model trains, either running them or collecting them, a very superb addition to their collection. I'll show you the front there. I mean, that is a really very nice looking train. Just trying to focus on there. There we are. Number 4472. And it's got King's Cross underneath the number there, which is the depot it was based at. And that is my 70th anniversary limited edition Flying Scotsman, and I'm very, very pleased with that, and the camera does not do it justice. It is a very, very nice train.